Hello. So, a while ago, I beat Minecraft without moving, and after thinking back on it, an idea popped in my head. What if we did the exact opposite? What if we tried to beat Minecraft without being able to stop moving? Well, let's find out. But first, let's quickly state the rules of this challenge, which are pretty simple. Throughout the entirety of the run, we will have the jump and forward buttons pressed, with the sprint permanently enabled. And that's about it. Originally, I also wanted to make it so that opening a menu doesn't stop our character from moving, but I haven't found a way to do that, so we'll just pretend our character is moving his head and arms in the inventory. Anyway, now that the rules are set, let's get going. We start in a taiga forest, and the first thing we want to do is getting some wood. And we might have a little problem here. Since we can't stop holding jump, our character keeps switching the block it's aiming, preventing us from breaking the tree. But thankfully, there's a lower tree just next to me with leaves perfectly placed to stop our character from jumping too high. So naturally, I went to a frozen river and desperately tried to counter the jump movement with my aim to break this dirt block and use it to help me break the big tree. Yeah, I don't know why I keep making my life harder than it should be. Anyway, now that we have some wood, we can craft the best item in the game. I love boats. And after finding some stone, we can make a few basic tools and move on to the next step of our journey. Food. Since we can't stop sprint jumping all the time, our food bar is gonna go down pretty quickly, so we're gonna need a lot of food. But thankfully, after a quick boat ride, this problem is quickly solved because we find a village, so we quickly rob them of all of their hay bales to make some bread, and after a bit more walking around, my luck strikes again. Ooh, a village plus a portal. Wait! Am I getting this thing 2 times in a row? With the lava here? I don't know, we might have enough. Alright, now that we found a partially built portal, all we need is to get some iron for a bucket. And naturally, since I'm in a village, my first thought was to kill the iron golem. However, this turned out to be more difficult than I anticipated. How can I block myself? Alright. Anyway, since the golem farming didn't go very well, I decided to get the iron from a safer place, an underwater cave. And it also didn't completely go as planned. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. Bubbles! Alright, we'll block that. Now we can breathe. Okay, we need to go one block lower. Okay. Now we can dig this. Alright, now that we have our iron, we go back to the surface, and it's time to start building the portal. Okay, now I need to stop my character from jumping so I can assess the situation. We need 4 lava. Oh, good thing I was slightly on the side. Alright, that was clean. Alright, that was less clean. Cool, I double clicked. We are placing down our final piece of obsidian. And with the fire charge we got from the chest, if I can find it, we are officially opening the nether portal. Bloop! Let's go. Alright, now that the portal is ready, I decided to leave my equipment in a chest so we can scout the nether without risking our equipment. So now, let's start looking for the fortress. What the fuck? What the hell? Alright, I'll take that. What You know what else I forgot about? Crafting a shield. I keep forgetting they exist. Alright, we're gaming. Ooh. Nah, how the hell am I so lucky? This has to stop at some point, right? Well, it sure did. While spawning literally inside the fortress was extremely lucky, it was also a curse in some way, because this fortress is in a soul sand valley, and this biome is the favorite home of my biggest enemy, the wither skeletons. Now, I've always disliked wither skeletons, but this challenge reignited my hate for them to a level I would have never imagined. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I'm dead. I hate wither skeletons so much. Please let me in. Please let me in. God, I'm so fucking bad at the game. I'm so bad at the game. Bro, I'm getting spawn killed. What the hell? I'm actually getting spawn killed. Please don't. Okay. I think we got most of it back. Two wither skeletons. Two! Oh my god, what the fuck? What the fuck? Let's just make them despawn by going far away. God. We need to do something. Okay, at this point it was pretty clear that I needed some gear upgrades in order to deal with those guys, so I crafted a diamond axe with the diamonds I got from the chests, and most importantly, I went back to get some iron so that we can finally craft a shield. Alright, how do you craft a shield? Like that? Alright. Whoa, 2025, he has a shield. Crazy. Alright, now that we finally have some protection, it's time to take our revenge on the blazes, and most importantly, on the wither skeletons. Oh, I have an angle. I have an opportunity. Oh lord, this is so f***ing satisfying. Die f***ing of. Okay, you know what? The most important part of the shield is not even that I can block hits with it, is that I can use it to slow down so I can keep a distance. So I can do this and then that and hit, and then this and then that and hit, and then this and then that and hit. Oh, I saw you. I saw you, little. Whoa! We're good. Wow. Nah. I don't want to know how many wither skeletons. I am out. Alright. Now that we have our blaze rods, we need to get ender pearls. And I'll be honest, after this disastrous experience, I did not want to set foot in the nether ever again. So instead of looting a bastion, we're just going to trade villagers. Now, our village doesn't have a cleric, but since we have blaze rods, we could just craft a brewing stand to make a cleric. Unfortunately though, I realized that after traveling 1,000 blocks, so we just end up finding another village with a cleric instead. And this village had a ton of hay bales, and since we're going to need a lot of emeralds, I decided to make a farmer to trade the wheat. And I think that's where my luck started running out. God, really? What the hell? What? I want you. I want you to buy wheat. Please. 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 Okay, did villager trade change in newer update? And they can't buy wheat anymore? Finally! Wow, I genuinely thought it was just not possible anymore. Wow, I genuinely thought they removed the trade. Anyway, now that we got the trade, we start trading our wheat. We get an interesting second trade from the farmer. Pumpkins? Well, guess what? Guess what I found here? Then we farm a bunch of clay to trade with the mason. And after trading a few empty bottles to the cleric for the last few emeralds, we have all the pearls we need. So we craft our Eyes of Ender, try to lock ourselves in a little prison. Bro. Okay. And we locate the stronghold. Alright, it's not that far. Boing. Okay, we got it. It's down there. Alright. Now that we know where the stronghold is, we just have one little problem. How do I go down? Since we can't stop holding forward and jump, we need some momentum from a higher block to start swimming underwater, so we'll have to find a block on the surface to build from. Thankfully though, we have a shipwreck not too far away, so we can use that to start swimming. But that's when I realized a second problem. My original plan for the dragon fight was to shoot the crystals with our bow and then hit the dragon with an axe. However, I forgot to get arrows, so we'll literally have one. That's probably not enough. But looking at the shipwreck gave me an idea, so I decided to grab some sand on my way to the stronghold since we're gonna need it for later. After that, we start digging down. Okay. Well, that is not exactly what I planned, but sure. And we find the stronghold. Oh, stronghold! The stronghold has been found. Oh. Oh. Okay. I didn't expect to literally land in the portal room. But my calculations were off, because you're supposed to land in the staircase. Since I can't stop sprinting and shit, let's play it safe. And remove every source of lava from existence. Oh, Lord. Okay, now we're safe. Alright, now that the stronghold has been found and securized, we make a little base like usual. Then we get rid of some useless items to make our inventory a bit cleaner. We don't need that. We don't need that. Alright, pretty good. And now that everything's ready, let's jump right in the end. Okay. Maybe I should have tried with no equipment first to see the spawn. Okay, how do I get out of this? Okay, I have an idea. No. No. Okay. I have an idea. I need to tower up. Alright, looks high enough to me. Let's take this back, and now we're gonna try to make a bridge. All right, we're not cooking. We're trolling. Wait, that's enough. All right, we've made a reusable path. Okay, now that we're on the main island with a reusable path, it's time to take care of the crystals. However, we had to use our water for the path, so we don't have it anymore to climb the pillars. But thankfully, that's where the sand comes into play. First, we're gonna climb up the towers with our sand, carefully stop 2 blocks before the top to safely break the crystal, and to get back down, we're just going to place a boat so that we can safely go back to the ground, and then we use a slab to quickly get all of our sand back without having to deal with the slower digging speed from constant jumping. And with this strategy, we can safely break all the crystals. No! No! God, really? By boat. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'll have to do it the hard way. Okay. Bloop. Oh. Okay, that was probably not the best block choice. Ooh. That was pretty easy. Okay, now that the crystals have been destroyed, it's time to deal with the dragon. And this was probably my goofiest looking dragon fight. Oh, I missed. Wow. All good. Calculated. Okay, I have an idea. Hey, hey. Can't hit me anymore now. Okay, fine, you win. Do not. I couldn't even get a single hit. I think my little arena is not very useful. Okay, if we stay close to the middle... Okay, never mind. There's no avoiding it, huh? Huh. Huh. Yup. Huh. Here. Come back. Ooh. Boom. 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 I want to get a good... Whoa, whoa. Okay. I want to get a goofy kill. My one arrow will not be useless, okay? I will use this arrow. Come on. Come on. Let's go! I shoot it with my one arrow. Oh, oh. We won! Yippee! And that's it. Now we just need to run back to the portal with no equipment, grab the dragon egg for good measure, and finish the run. Now we can put this little guy with the wither skulls.